Hello and welcome back to VGC for a very special bonus podcast with Lucy James. Lucy, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you? I miss you already.
I miss you already. Do you I'm going to let people in on a little secret. So we recorded a full podcast and just before it, I said, I'm using this thing where I can look through my Apple Watch to see what the camera does. And you can see on the recording me look down at my Apple Watch, flick my wrist, and apparently that is the turn everything off command because it turned it off via my watch. Yeah. If I'd just been normal and not worried about it, it would have been totally fine. This has been all day. For people listening to this on the appropriate day, this is the same day that we recorded this week's podcast where my cat was ripping up the door and my proper camera didn't work. The proper camera and the proper laptop completely retired at this point, so it's been pretty terrible. How are things now that you're home? You were just saying you've not unpacked, neither have I.
I know, I haven't unpacked. Everything's been great. I've just been, if I owe you an email, I am sorry. I am getting there. My inbox, I have never been this popular on LinkedIn. And so now basically I've kind of just been catching up with everything, and I'm about to put out this week's newsletter because this is the first week where I've full weeks after SGF where I have been self-employed. Yeah,
self-employed at Looking for Game. Give us the spiel. Obviously you did it on Jeff's stage, which I thought was an incredibly baller move. There was a point beforehand when we were watching it, running a betting pool on whether or not he'd let you talk about it on the stage. I suppose he is involved, so it does behoove him to do that. But what is the spiel for people listening?
So I left my job at GameSpot to launch a newsletter, which I keep joking, is launching a newsletter the new I'm starting a podcast? Maybe. But basically, I have felt for a while that I would like to do more in working with discoverability and indies and smaller games. And so that is what the newsletter is. It's called lookingfor.game. That is also the website. And basically every week I will just email you gaming recommendations of smaller games that you might not have heard of. And because of our partner, the tech partner, we don't use Substack or Beehive or anyone. We use, I say we, it's me. I use First Look, who are predominantly a playtesting platform. So they worked with studios and publishers for a while now, getting people on and getting them into playtests to try out games and help give feedback. So for me, it made so much sense to go with them because it means that where I can, and we hook up exclusives, we can just send the demo key straight to you. So I will say for our first issue, we had an exclusive demo of Wish Upon a Llama, and that tech wasn't necessarily in place yet, but it should be for the next one. But it's basically so if you see a TikTok of a game and you're yes, that's cool, I'm going to wish list it. That's great. That's already a step in the right direction. However, what is that? Are you going to actually buy that game when it comes out? Maybe. You might remember that you saw TikTok about it months ago. What I want to do there is kind of more the foot in the door is actually send you the demo so you can see a game, think it's cool, try it, and then decide, is this something I'm going to actively be keeping tabs on, and maybe I'll pay money for when it actually comes out. So it's more just getting people to try more stuff. Yeah.
So for you, as someone that was previously at one of the biggest games websites in the world, why is this something you couldn't do at GameSpot? Divorced from the idea of the demo distribution, because that's something that's pretty unique, but this kind of weekly or periodical indie recommendations, was that something that you think that, obviously your role was slightly different at GameSpot, but GameSpot has to cater to such a huge audience?
Yes. I mean, where do you start with that question? Because first of all, people are always oh, maybe, you left because you weren't allowed to cover indies at GameSpot. And that's not true at all. I was given a huge amount of scope to do what interested me. But I just think really over time on Friends Per Second in particular, which is the podcast that I have outside of GameSpot, I just realized that I was having more fun just jumping into Steam and finding weird games and talking about them. And I found that people really liked it. And so I'm the person who has the Friends Per Second inbox on their phone. So I see the emails that are coming in. I do read the comments, and people are always saying like watched Ralph and Jake for years, love their takes, love their reviews. And for me, it's always people say, followed Lucy for years, always love her indie recommendations. So for me, that was like reaffirming that what I was talking about was finding the people that I wanted it to find. And the other part of that question is just, I'd been at GameSpot for 12 years. I could argue that moving to America was like the big jump that I have done in my life, but I've been there for so long and I've never really transitioned into having my own career for 12 years, like something that I have control over. And also, yeah, I just wanted to do something a bit different. And it's also like, you know, I've been Lucy James from GameSpot for so long and I just wanted to be Lucy James.
So when did that thought start to kind of percolate? Because we've talked about it behind the scenes for a few years now. I feel like you have been Lucy James, especially like when you step out on Keely's stage, but you kind of ascend to a different level. Like I'm not stepping out on Jeff's stage yet. Just you wait. You'll
I'll put a good word in for you.
Oh no, don't, because then you'll know. I just want it to be like all the lights go dark and then you off stage go, ladies and gentlemen, a special performance from, and then I walk out in a cocktail dress. I'll just walk out on that with that blue dress you wore this year, like Matt and Trey Parker did at the Oscars.
Oh yeah, people are mad for that dress. It's anthropology. Anthropology, everyone who was asking.
Were the shoes you were wearing the ones that you had to sprint across town the day before to get? No.
Yes, so my shoes didn't arrive. I actually might have to call the hotel that I was staying and see if they did end up arriving. I don't think they have. But yeah, I had to leave the, which was it, the Control event?
The Control event, yeah.
Because I had to quickly run to Nordstrom Rack and buy some shoes. Oh yeah, so how long have this, I don't know, I've been thinking about it for a while. I think there's some, you know, amidst all the headwinds and challenges of working in this industry, you always think of a backup plan. And I certainly felt that as my profile was rising with Friends Per Second and then doing Summer Game Fest, because that I never felt like I could do something by myself until those things kind of came together. So yeah, a little bit. It's always been something, but it's also, you know, just figuring out what the idea would be. Because I don't think you would come to me for like if I was doing news or reviews or something. I don't necessarily think that's where my talents are. Like I'm plugged in and I have good takes, but I feel like my unique skill set is that I like talk about indies.
So I saw a post going about today saying that there was like 4,000 Steam Next Fest demos or something like that. I think about it in the context of
it's closer to 5,000. I've got the list.
So that's the question. How do you possibly curate that? And surely like indie game discoverability will change to a point where if looking for a game is as successful as we both hope it will be, will this become a thing where developers are like, okay, we need to place ourselves with looking for a game as part of the rollout process?
I mean, I would love that because the audience that we've cultivated already and is that audience. Like if you're a paid member, because all the recommendations will be free, and I pay gated the Discord and stuff because I just you know, like wanted to build a community, but also I didn't necessarily want it to have it open and, you know, leave yourself open to that kind of thing. But the people who are in there. Like they're already recommending games to each other. The pet channel is popping off. It's a really nice group of people. And that's exactly what I wanted to happen. And so in talking to developers and even, you know, the smaller indie boutique publishers and stuff, they're like, this is great. Like, because even it's going to be running all year. So it's not like you have to be up against a Next Fest. You don't have to be up against a Summer Game Fest or another showcase or something. Like there are beats throughout the year that you can position yourself in, and you're going directly to an audience that cares. But also, yeah, it's the unique thing that we have is you can put the demo right in people's hands. So it's not like I'm saying, oh, I want this to be part of your marketing beat. I'm saying this is another avenue to get out of that noise, because Next Fest is exceedingly valuable if you are very, very lucky. Yeah, I got the email through with all of the preview stuff and I was like, Jesus Christ, it's just getting untenable. And so that's why part of looking for game is like in every issue I'll put it in. It's like, if you are a developer, here is a form to fill out. Like my email is in my bio. I might regret saying that, but like It's right there. You can just email me, show me what you have. I'm not saying that I'm gonna, be able to get back to everyone, but there is already some absolute gold in my inbox that I can't wait to dig in and play through after Next Fest is out of the way, because Jesus Christ.